Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, still some 15 minutes short to your lunch table. The organization is making sure that we have a delicious lunch and you stay back for some more time. It's always pleasure to be in person and in such a platform where we have a lot of intellectual minds talking about customer experience. Friends, we have learned a lot of things about customer obsess, customer experience, and the innovation and the digitalization, transformation of customer strategy, and so on and so forth. The topic which I have been given is an interesting one. Customer experience starts with employee experience, and I'll share my thoughts into it. Let me be very candid. These are my thoughts and nothing to represent with any of the organizations which I have worked in past or in present. Right? Okay, so here we go. What I meant is, when we say experience, it has to be a total user experience, right? Whether it is an end user or a customer or an internal employee. So how I'm going to start with is the positive and a happy employee and an engaged employee, how they define a customer experience. So in subsequent slides, what I have carved out is and my thoughts in terms of how the customer journey has been mapped, what are the critical success factors from both customer and employee perspective, and we will go through some of those slides on that. So first and foremost, mapping customer journey. How do we define? So I strongly believe that there are three key elements to it: entice, engage, and enable. Customer acquisition. How is your product portfolio? What is the service stack which you have? And what are the value proposition which you bring to the table to the customer is extremely important. Does customer correlate your brand with your service? And how they define it is extremely critical. So the point which we need to think through before we get into a customer acquisition and a service management is something which are the key factors, right? The second is engagement, is customer service. When you get into the customer service shoe, you need to understand the customer touch points at length and breadth. When I say length and breadth, at each touch point, right from the admin to the procurement to the billing to the operations team and collection and credit and so on and so forth. So you need to understand the need of each and every touch point at the customer side. We have been talking about innovation, agile approach, and the processes around how to speed up the things. But to my view, your speed will only get acknowledged when it matters to the customer, right? So does customer actually want a speed for a certain activity which is been expecting from a provider or from a partner? That's where he will get an acknowledgement. Enablement. This is key for both customer and employee. Empowering an employee to serve the customer. We have heard about standardization, we have heard about the innovation, and I completely agree with my other speakers that customization is the key over here. Every customer requirement is unique. You can't have if a customer is giving customer is reaching out to you for an issue, you can't standardize a format stating that have you checked 1, have you checked 2, is your light is glowing, are your services up, are your power is up. I don't think customer is going to remember that. Even if, for that matter, when you try and resolve the issue within 10 minutes, but that one email to a customer will get that emotional experience to the customer, and that's where the entire experience gets derived for. Right? So, moving on, this defines your communication, engagement, and the overall experience. Okay. Now, in order to go to the critical steps, these are my thoughts in terms of what are the critical steps when you think when you start the entire customer journey and the customer management. Define customer needs. Do you really understand what customer needs are and what customer desires, and how do you map it with a clear and clear agreed deliverables to the customer? The emotional connect definitely helps in terms of jotting down the needs and the agreed deliverables. The second point is on aligning custom deliverables within the organization. Now, this is very, very critical. I just wanted to quote one example when we heard about CX into healthcare, and 2 years back when I was into a similar forum, and we had one of the panelists from an hospital industry. What he spoke about is that there are 52 touch points within the hospital when a patient or a relative of patient is coming to the hospital. So imagine the mapping and the process which needs to be stitched at each level, and how they show the empathy towards the relative or patient relatives is very important. So aligning the customer needs within the internal organization is the key and is very important and critical steps to it. This is my favorite model, D3D³ model. When you define what customer needs are, you design it basis what customer expects and what is the customer need. Once you design, is the deployment happening at the same pace what customer expect, at the same solution which you have provided to customer, and deliver first time right approach, right? So this is the journey, and these are the critical points which will lead to the emotional experience to the customer, and that's where we need to ensure that each and every touch point within the organization is aligned to that needs. And the last one is measure of success in terms of customer sentiments, NPS. We heard about customer sentiments, and I think it's and I like the way in which it has been quoted that there is no shortcut to get that score or get that customer experience, right? The score is just one part of it. Unless you don't engage with the customer, you will never able to get what customer is getting into and how the perception is getting developed for. Some of those, yeah. So I spoke about total user experience, and I would like to just have two aspect and correlation how the entire experience journey starts for. We spoke about customer onboarding, responsiveness, right, engagement, and consulting approach. Now, how you relate it with the internal team is from the employee side, right? Do you create enough empathy and warmth with the employee? How far employee trust you in terms of how far is engaged with the customer journey, right? Coaching and development, reward recognition, empowerment. So my view to this entire thing is, and we have done in past, that when we engage with the customer on a half yearly, which is a strategic engagement, we do take team from finance, we do take team from legal, just to get a feel that how that engagement is and correlate what are the activities which he does for that customer is how it is being perceived by the customer. So the back office team, so we do those kind of an engagement with the customer which will help for them to connect and engage with that. What do we get out of this is NPS, of course ENPS as well. So ENPS is extremely important there. This is just a summarization of what I've already spent time about in terms of reward recognition and grooming on the employee side and all. So, okay, I'll not take much time. This is my last slide, and I would like to spend a little bit of time over here. So, total user experience, when we say, I've derived some of the maturity model, and I want to just summarize into it. What are the key things? One is define and design. How do we define customer needs? How do we design what customer needs are? Alignment internally to the employee at each stage, at each touch point. Empathy and empowerment. This goes both for customer as well as employee, more to the employee side, so that you get a positive customer experience. And last but not the least, business growth. So these are my thoughts. This is my last slide, and thank you for patient listening.